and welcome. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Tonight, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission intercepts $2.8 million from suspected launderers at the Enugu airport, gives account of large fund recoveries in the South-South zone. Police arrest alleged Boko Haram leader identified as Umar 3 weeks after escaping from the nation's capital, Abuja. Families displaced from communities in Plateau State as a result of attacks by armed herdsmen return to their ancestral homes from the internally displaced camp in Jos, the state capital. And US President Donald Trump vows a very long government shutdown if Democrats fail to fund his border wall policy.
And on business news tonight, Corporate Affairs Commission removes proficiency certificate from its list of requirements for business registration.
Island sports news: Super Falcons of Nigeria begin their preparation for the 2019 FIFA Women World Cup in France with an invitational tournament in China next month.
And from Abuja, All Progressives Congress kicks off its governorship campaign in Imo State, promises new lease of life under Senator Hope Uzodimma's leadership.
We begin tonight with the interception of $2.8 million at the Akanu Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission from two persons suspected to be money launderers. A statement signed by the acting head media and publicity of the commission, Mr. Tony Rulade, says the suspects, Augustine Igo and Emmanuel Ezekwe, were arrested based on intelligence reports. They were reportedly caught at the departure lounge of the airport with two suitcases containing $1.4 million each, while they were about to board an Arik Air evening flight to Lagos. The statement adds that during interrogation, the suspects confessed that they had been in the business of conveying cash for some notable banks for over 6 years and were in the process of doing the same for Union Bank PLC, located at Newmarket, Onitsha, Anambra State, when they were caught. The suspects, who allegedly work for a company, Bankers Warehouse, also confessed to carrying out such assignments 4 times this year. The arrest comes barely 3 weeks after the EFCC arrested a Lebanese national, Abbas Lakis, with over $2 million in cash at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Meanwhile, the South-South zone of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission said it recovers funds running into billions, some in foreign currencies, this year. The zonal head of the agency, Nange Itam, told journalists in Port Harcourt, River State, that over 30 convictions have also been secured in the period. The Commission also paraded suspected internet fraudsters who allegedly duped unsuspecting victims on social media.
764, 564, 747.27 within this year has been recovered in Naira terms. And then we have 828,298.46 dollars. Out of that sum, 638,482,351.57 is cash recoveries, and we have Naira forfeited at 1,036,409,548.06 Naira as accounts forfeited in banks. And out of that sum, again, about 1,036,409.548.06 has been forfeited, with $71,900. Some of the interesting one is that we still find people who fall prey to love scams. You have Nigerians who pretend as if they are soldiers, American soldiers in Afghanistan, and then wooing, so to say, their fellow Americans. And they extort money from them through iTunes.
A suspected leader of the terrorist group Boko Haram, known as Umar, has been arrested in Lagos 3 weeks after escaping from Abuja. The force public relations officer, Jimoh Moshood, told Channels Television that Umar is a leader of the dreaded group that has carried out several attacks in different parts of the country. These include the Nyanya bombings in Abuja in 2015 and the Gwagwalada area police killings. According to Mr. Moshood, 4 members of Umar's gang had earlier been arrested while he escaped with gunshot wounds. He says the police were able to track him down in Lagos, where he was receiving treatment for his injuries. And 200 families seeking refuge at the Geosciences internally displaced camp in Jos, north-central Nigeria, are returning to their ancestral homes after being displaced by armed herdsmen. Flagging off the commencement of the homecoming of the returnees, the commander Operation Safe Haven, Major General Augustine Angudu, gave them the assurance that adequate security has been provided in the villages. He also says that relief materials will be provided to assist in the resettlement of the displaced persons.
6 communities, including Kakaruk, Gidin Akwati, Ruku, and Kura Falls of Barikin-Ladi local government area of Plateau State were attacked by suspected herdsmen, leading to the death of over 200 people, with houses and farmland destroyed and several people displaced from their homes. 6 months after staying at the internally displaced persons camps, 386 people, mainly women, children, and the aged, were amongst the first set of returnees based on the arrangement made by Operation Safe Haven and the Plateau State government to return the displaced people back to their ancestral homes. With 3 villages of Kakur, Kuzin, and Kura Falls as the villages for resettlement.
What we have seen is the result of many periods of coordinating conferences and meetings, which culminated into what we are going to witness today, which is the flag off of the first set of those who will be returning back to their ancestral homes. The homes and the villages have been properly secured. Troops deployment have been reinforced. We are more reinvigorated now to ensure that the security of their villages are assured. The security of their lives are also, to much extent, we can give them some assurance they'll be able to stay in their villages without any fear or apprehension.
As the returnees delight in going back home after 6 months sojourn in displaced people's camps, some challenges are still confronting them, which they want the government to address.
Till we get house to sleep, no food. They don't cut all our food in the bush, in the farm. We haven't got something. So you people, you can help us with that people plan.
With this first set of returnees successfully reintegrated, the government and security agencies should ensure that the remaining displaced people in other camps are also resettled in their ancestral homes.
The Nigerian Air Force has condemned rumors making the rounds that the former Chief of Defense Staff, Air Chief Marshal Alex Bade, was not provided with adequate security personnel, leading to the deadly attack on him. The former defense chief was killed on the Kefi-Abuja road on Tuesday while on his way back from his farm. But in a statement posted on its website today, the Nigerian Air Force faulted the position, as well as reports in sections of the media that Bade's driver, who was also shot during the incident, has lost his life. The statement reads in part, quote, "Firstly, all are please requested to note that the driver is alive and recuperating extremely well at one of our NAF hospitals. Secondly, Air Chief Marshal Bade has always been provided with a full complement of personal staff and security personnel, commensurate with his status as the former Chief of Air Staff and a 4-star general in the Armed Forces of Nigeria," end of quote. It adds that the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Atiku Abubakar, is working with other relevant security agencies to determine the circumstances surrounding the death of the former CDS, with a view to bringing the perpetrators to justice. To politics now. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, has invited civil society organizations to partner with his party to promote democracy in the country and prevent dictatorship. At a forum with which civil society organizations in Abuja, the former vice president criticized some of the steps being taken by the federal government, such as the face-off with international non-governmental organizations like Amnesty International and UNICEF. Our correspondent Larry Lassisi reports.
It's a parley between civil society organizations, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, and his campaign team. Gathered here are members of civil society organizations, representatives of the entertainment industry, chieftains of the PDP, and youth organizations. It's an opportunity for the activists to get answers to key questions from the candidate and his team.
Amnesty International a few days ago brought a report of over 4,000 deaths preventable by any responsive leadership in what we have fondly called farmers' herders clashes, which we have done nothing about to stop this next thing going on in our country. How do you want to stop this from continuing to happen?
What will you do to be able to utilize what we have locally, improve local content so that this will improve our economy and take us away from importing grass and hair from Brazil?
Candidate and his team take turns to address the issues raised.
I know that an Atiku Abubakar president will not give directive to the head of a security agency under his presidency to go to a particular state and take charge, and the security agent's head of security will not do that, and that security agent will still be sitting in that seat. That will not happen under Atiku Abubakar. People will be held accountable.
Civil society groups and the political parties have to partner in protecting rule of law, freedom, and democracy in this country. Believe me, if we join with this government, we will end up in a dictatorship.
This is part of consultations the campaign team is having across the country in preparations for the elections next year. Lanre Lasisi, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the president has continued to receive various groups who've thrown their weight behind his re-election bid. The latest to meet with President Muhammadu Buhari at the State House are members of the MBO Dynamic Support Group, who've promised to deliver 2.7 million votes to the president in the election holding in 2019. The president thanked the group for their commitments towards his re-election ambition and promised not to disappoint them. Our correspondent Gloria Umezuki reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari receives yet another support group at the State House.
Your Excellency,
the delegation, led by its national coordinator, gave thumbs up to the president for his doggedness in the drive to stamp out corruption, pledging to deliver 2.7 million votes.
These 2,725,359 are there for you, Your Excellency. By the grace of Allah, 40 vote per polling unit will be actualized in 2019. In this note, I resonate with the general affirmation of MBO family worldwide. We will work, and inshallah Buhari will win.
To serve this country.
Receiving the group, the president is clearly not oblivious that there are many supporters willing to freely campaign for him.
I am honestly impressed and grateful for this group of more than 2.5 million Nigerians that have dedicated themselves for so long to serve this country, which means is conviction driven. If you don't believe in it, you wouldn't have been working for so long without imposing yourself on me at one stage or the other. I have lost enough words to express my real sincere gratitude to you for the sacrifices you have been making in what you believe that will be stabilizing Nigeria. I thank you very much.
Only a few weeks before the elections, it is expected that more support groups may spring up as more Nigerians take a decision to elect candidates of their choice in 2019. From the presidential villa, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
In part 2, after the break, we stay on the politics of 2019 and how it's impacting on the budget presentation by the president. That's in a moment. Please stay with us.